What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to the MC show. It's your boy MC. Basketball is back. It's not back. We are still in preseason basketball, but the NBA is back. We're watching games again. We are here to discuss some things that I've noticed, some of my notes from preseason basketball for a few teams. We're going to talk about that today. Before we get started, though, as always, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Any and all help would be greatly appreciated. If you're listening to this on podcast, don't forget to leave a 5-star rating wherever you get your podcast from. Let's get straight into it. I have 4 teams that I really wanted to get into today. I could have had way more. Like, it's preseason. There's a bunch of teams. Lineups are different. Coaches may be different. There's a whole bunch of teams to talk from, but we can't get to all 30 teams today. The Miami Heat are the first team. They're actually playing a preseason game right now as I speak against the Atlanta Hawks. It's so crazy, actually. Why are you playing back-to-backs in the preseason on the road? That doesn't make any sense to me, but like, whatever, I guess. They played in Orlando last night. They're playing in Atlanta tonight. Like, it's preseason. Why are you playing back-to-backs? It doesn't make any sense to me, but whatever, I guess. But the Miami Heat, coming into this season, not many high hopes, not many high expectations from a lot of people in the media, from even some of the fans. They obviously, first season without Jimmy Butler in a long time, made some moves getting Norman Powell, re-signed Davion Mitchell, brought back Drew Smith. You're looking for, they drafted Kasparas Yakachonis. You're looking for hopefully leaps from Jovic, who's just signed an extension, good extension for the Miami Heat and for Jovic. I thought it was really good for both sides. Khalil Ware, who has been phenomenal. We'll talk about him. You're looking at Jaime, who I think has been okay so far in this preseason. Tyler Hero, didn't talk about this last time, but got surgery on his ankle or foot and will be out for 6 to 8 weeks, maybe even longer than that. So, 14, 15 games, maybe even more than that they're going to be missing him, which is what makes the Norman Powell trade so, like, incredibly, like, helpful, because, man, if they had to try to go out there without Norman Powell, they were not going to score 100 points ever until Tyler Hero came back. Like, this team has struggled on offense for a long time, many years now. And I think that in order, this team isn't necessary. They're not the Denver Nuggets. They're not the Cleveland Cavaliers. So they don't have the roster in order to have a great offense, a top 5, top 7 kind of offense in the league. But what they can do, and what I've noticed in preseason, is play faster. That's something us Heat fans have been clamoring for so long, but you're finally seeing it a lot more consistently. Sometimes years prior in preseason, they would say we want to play faster. Then you look at the stats, and it's like, oh, they're 27th in pace. No, this team has to be like 9th, even higher in pace. Like 9th might be a little bit generous. They might have to be like 5th, 6th, 7th in pace this season. So we've seen that. I remember their first preseason game. I have it written down here. There were 3 times in the first quarter in that Puerto Rican game, in that game in Puerto Rico against the Orlando Magic. 3 times in the first quarter, I saw them run 3 successful fast breaks. When was the last time you saw the Miami Heat run 3 successful fast breaks? Not even just in a game, in a quarter, bro. In a quarter. That's insane. They were running the ball. They were finishing. They were getting out in transition. Like, things that we have been asking for a long time. They're doing it. This is a team that they're younger. I think playing faster benefits guys like Jaime Jaquez, Nikola Jovic, Tyler Hero when he comes back. I think it helps Davion Mitchell, who's really fast. Like, they're a young team. It'll help. It'll help a lot of the rest of the young guys too. Kasparas, Ware. I think it can help Bam some. It's getting easy points in transition. So that's what I've noticed about the team so far. They had to have a different offensive philosophy, and so playing faster will help their offense if they can just get some easy baskets. Jovic, we'll talk about individual players now. Jovic, I think he has looked phenomenal. Has had the ball in his hands a lot more often, and has been playmaking at a really good level, finding guys across the court for open threes, finding guys in the corner. My favorite thing maybe about him, I know his playmaking. We all love his playmaking. We know that he can do that at a pretty high level. I love that he's been taking it to the basket. I love that he's been consistently being able to generate rim pressure. This is a team that I still think is going to struggle to generate high frequency rim pressure and finishes at the basket. Bam, who was really good at that earlier in his career, the past few seasons, he's sort of stepped back and taken a lot more 17-foot mid-range jump shots, and obviously you don't have Jimmy to get to the basket anymore. Tyler Hero isn't necessarily someone who's going to get to the basket all the time, so someone that can generate some rim pressure. You're looking at Nikola Jovic, and he's been able to do that. I think the starting spot is his. I know Kel'el Ware is starting right now in their preseason game, but Jovic has started in the preseason games that he's been playing in, and so I just loved how he looks more confident, more aggressive. He's looking for a shot more, but also like there's a good healthy balance of him playmaking. There was a game against the Spurs, I want to say, where he had 7 assists, 0 turnovers. He's been looking fantastic. Ware has looked like an absolute monster. Coach Spo has been on his behind, coaching him hard, and the reason why he's been coaching him hard is because there's a really good player in there in Kel'el Ware, and you've seen these past few preseason games the motor, which was a big question coming into the draft, was high energy, high motor, but you've seen him more consistently on the offensive glass. I thought he's shown a lot of motor. He's had some isolation plays here and there against Orlando. You saw he had who did he score an and one on? I forgot, but he scored an and one on somebody in the game that just happened last night. Getting offensive rebounds off of free throws, like getting to the free throw line. He's been hitting his threes. He has really good touch around the rim. I've liked his energy. This is why Coach Spo has coached him hard, because in the summer league when he was not playing well and Coach Spo called him out, he's been playing really hard ever since then. When asked about it at post game, I remember Ira Winderman had asked him, I'm paraphrasing here of course, why can't you play like that all the time? And his response was, you will. And we've seen it. He's backed it up. I've liked everything I've seen from him so far. Obviously, he's still a young player, so like there's like some turnovers here. There's some bad passes here that, you know, he still has to get that out of his system. But again, he's a young guy, and overall, I feel like the things that you want to see from him, I think you've seen them a lot this preseason. Hawkes, you just want to see. I think the Spurs game was a really good game for him. He's not a ball handler, and he still might turn the ball over. But I think he looks a lot more comfortable. I still want to see him cut to the basket more, because I just don't think he has enough on-ball juice to consistently like handle the ball. So a lot of times I just want him to keep cutting to the basket. He dunked on Wembanyama in that Spurs preseason game, which was fantastic. That came off a cut. Kasparas Yakachonis, you know, he hit him for when he cut to the lane. So a lot more on that, but still I want to see when he's in the rotation for Miami. I still want to see him be more of a defender. He doesn't have the lateral quickness, but I need him to be more positive on that end, and I need him to be able to consistently get to the basket more and not spam that spin move. I don't know if he's going to get into the rotation consistently during the regular season. We'll see, of course. But just overall, the young guys for Miami, I think have looked pretty good, except for Kashad Johnson. I feel like he's not having a big impact on the game. If there's one guy I have to say that's negative, like Kashad Johnson needs to be able to hit open shots, or set screens well, or pass well, or rebound well, or deflect passes. He has to do something well, and I just feel like he hasn't really affected the game in a positive manner. Spo talks about this every time he's talking about Khalil Ware. He has to impact winning, and has Kashad Johnson impacted winning these preseason games? I'm gonna have to say no. So I'm not gonna say I'm out on him because I don't want to put everything on preseason. But he's not someone that I'm like, okay, he's definitely going to be in a rotation. He's definitely going to be out the rotation. I think we can all confidently say that. But so far, as a Heat fan and as a basketball fan, I've liked things from Miami. Hopefully they can keep up, as the pace is the biggest thing I'm looking for during a regular season. If they can keep that up and hopefully just like stay afloat when Tyler Hero comes back, maybe this team, who not a lot of people are high on, could make like the 5th, 6th seed in this really beat up Eastern Conference. Okay, moving on. The Knicks, who I also believe, do they play today? I think they play today as well. The Knicks obviously hired Mike Brown. Mike Brown, way different offensive philosophy from Tom Thibodeau. And I'm looking at him and his offense, looking at those 2 preseason games, especially when they were playing Philadelphia and Abu Dhabi. The Knicks definitely are a team that are going to want to generate a lot of threes. I saw a lot of DHOs. I saw a lot of pull-ups, spot-ups, whatever the case you may be. I'm looking at the way they're just running. They're a lot more passing, a lot more speed. A lot of times, I will say one thing that I want them to do a little bit more is more DHOs with Karl-Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson. I need those because obviously Karl-Anthony Towns being a spacing 5 is going to make that specific play a lot more dangerous. I feel like a lot of times it was Mitchell Robinson, who has been in the starting lineup, by the way, over Josh Hart. There were a lot of times where he would the Knicks would spam that DHO action, but Mitchell Robinson is a rolling big, and he would have to roll all the way to the basket. Us on long rolls, not a short roll, and he's not someone who could hit like a floater. So it just isn't as dangerous and isn't as potent. I think people would rather sell out to Jalen Brunson if that's the situation than Mitchell Robinson. But if you have Karl-Anthony Towns in that spot, obviously it's going to be like pick and choose your poison. Like, those 2 guys should be running a ton of pick and roll together, a ton of DHOs together. Both of them can average 25. Both of them are good scorers. Both of them are efficient scorers. That's something that I want to see the Knicks do a lot more in this preseason, or throughout the regular season, of course. But it's something that I think the intentionality is still, there. The DHOs, to generate more threes, getting Mikal Bridges off like a stagger screen or something like that. Like you see a lot more ball movement and a lot more of Mike Brown's input on the roster. And once they sort of get used to it, once they settle in, once they understand the offense, understand how things flow, this could be a really, really good team. Now, I wouldn't say they have elite shooting, but they have good shooting. Towns, OG Anunoby, Bridges is like okay to me. OG Anunoby is like good. McBride has really improved on his 3-point shooting. Towns, obviously you have Shamit, Yabusele. I will see. I don't know if he's that dangerous. Like, teams might help off of him, so he would have to consistently make it. Clarkson, how do I say this nicely? Clarkson can hit the 3, but the guy is an inefficient player, and so he might be the person that might fit out the offense just in a vacuum, because of the fact that he might take the ball and just ISO. Basically, Like when people complain about what Jonathan Kuminga does in Golden State, Jordan Clarkson might do the same exact thing. And in some nights he might have 24 and it's gonna work. Some nights it's not gonna be. But hey, it is what it is. But end all be all, I've liked the way the Knicks have looked. The offense obviously is going to be something they're going to have to get used to. I think when it works, this is, by the way, this is a team that was 5th in offense last year, but it's because they were efficient. They didn't take a lot of threes. They didn't turn the ball over. Obviously, Jalen Brunson's an efficient guy, but it was a lot of Jalen Brunson pounding the ball for 15 seconds, 20 seconds. Sometimes they would forget Karl Anthony Towns in sections of the game, and he wouldn't really touch the ball or get to the free throw line or whatever, get an opportunity to score. But I think with Karl Anthony Towns being a little bit more of the Sabonis role, being a little bit more of a hub, I think it would really, really help them. Help him just get opportunities to score. He's not a bad passer, so there's a lot to like in this new motion offense that Mike Brown has brought to the New York Knicks. A lot more driving kicks. Again, this is all about generating threes, getting up a lot of threes. The best way to generate threes in today's NBA is drive and kick. Okay, passing the ball on a three-point line does nothing. You're not moving the defense. You want to suck the defense in, and you want to pass. Look what the Boston Celtics have done the past 2-3 years. That's exactly how you want to be able to generate threes. You want to, somebody got to touch the paint, and if you touch the paint, then you can spray it out for shooters. And the Knicks have done that, and if they're a team that could be a top 10 offense again. So I've liked that from them, but we're going to move on. The Warriors. Speaking of Jonathan Kuminga, the Warriors are my third team. A lot of these notes actually are from the first couple of games. I have some more notes in my noggin, but we'll get to what I've written here first. Al Horford. I'm looking at the newest additions. Al Horford, Seth Curry. Seth Curry hasn't played. D'Anthony Melton's obviously injured. They brought back Gary Payton. But Al Horford looks pretty good. He looks pretty good. That first game against the Lakers, he had 3 blocks in, I want to say, how many minutes did he play that game? 14 minutes? He looked really good. I'm very interested in, I think for me, when I'm looking at the Golden State Warriors, I'm looking at their lineups this preseason. In the first game against the Lakers, they started their lineup last season when they got Jimmy Butler, which was Pods, Curry, Moody, Draymond, and Jimmy as your starting 5. And Al Horford had come off the bench. I think that, could that be their starting lineup? Yes. But I think that you don't want Draymond playing the 5 all the time. I don't think Draymond wants to play the 5 all the time. So you get Al Horford against teams like, I want to say Denver. Like the league for a period of time went small, but now we're in the era where the league has gone big again. And so Jokic, Wembanyama, a lot of those teams with really big talented centers, I think Al Horford is going to start. And when he did play off the bench, he was fantastic. He made that touch pass to Curry for the and 1. He made a 3. It's going to really help. Steve Kerr has said this a lot. It's going to help Jonathan Kuminga. It's going to help Jimmy Butler. I think Jimmy Butler plays best with a spacing 5. And whether it's with post or Al Horford, who obviously high IQ, is gonna really work for them. So I'm interested in seeing more like Kuminga, Jimmy, Horford lineups, or Kuminga, Draymond, Horford lineups, because I just think Al Horford is such a good fit for this team. This is a read and react offense. This is a lot of motion, a lot of Steph Curry running around causing chaos, and I just think he fits right in just because of the way Boston played. There was a game though that they started. It was against Portland where the young guys ended up scoring 51 points in the fourth quarter. I don't care that it's a preseason game. Scoring 51 points in a quarter is absolutely insane. Al Horford started that game. You saw the lineup of Curry, Moody, Draymond, Jimmy, and Al Horford. They didn't play particularly well, or at least I think Curry played fine. I thought Jimmy played fine. Jimmy and Curry look pretty good, but I still think like Draymond has not looked good on offense at all throughout the preseason. It's preseason though, so I'm not gonna hold too much weight into that. But it's definitely like Moody was the starting 2 guard in that spot. Obviously Moody's what 6'4", I want 6'5", long wingspan, and I think that lineup needs a defend. Honestly, any Golden State Warriors lineup is gonna need a defender for guards, for Shea, for Anthony Edwards, De'Aaron Fox. Like they don't really have a great guard defender. Gary Payton II is like kind of supposed to be that, but he was getting torched last season in the playoffs by Anthony Edwards. So I don't think Gary Payton is the guy to really stop like those guards that I mentioned. So Moses Moody was in that lineup, and I think that they want him to be that guy. But still, I still think it's going to be a little bit of an issue. One thing I would say too, I know some people don't like pods. Some people and the Warriors fans, they don't like pods. Steve Kerr really likes pods though, because one thing about Podziemski, and you saw that if you watched their game against the Lakers, what was it, yesterday? The ball just moves because he's a smart player. He fits the system because he's smart. And if he's aggressive as he was last night, where he's scoring, running a lot more pick and rolls, hitting threes, getting to the basket a little bit more. He had 23 points last night. There is a spot for him. There is room for him. And I think people need to like back up and really understand why Steve Kerr starts him. Like the ball moves with him. The ball moves with him. He knows he knows the plays. He knows how to make the right passes. He's just a smart player. He's a smart player. What else do I have written down here? Steph, Jimmy, again, mentioned it. They've looked pretty good. One thing though, actually, we'll save it after for a little bit after. Moses Moody, talking about him, that first game, the shot looks really, really good. If he can hit 38, 39, 40% of his threes, especially in the corners, with Jimmy, the way Jimmy plays, Jimmy's going to want somebody in the corner hitting threes. Is going to be a real positive for them. Last season, Moses Moody was really good in the regular season, but he got played off in the playoffs because he couldn't hit a shot, because he couldn't do anything offensively. He got played out. He got taken off the bench. That's why they put Buddy Hield in the lineup, because Buddy Hield was hitting shots and he affects the defense a lot more than Moses Moody. So if Moses Moody can be an offensive threat, he can really, really help this team. Not just on, because I expect his defense to be as good as it was last year. The point of attack defense was really good. I liked when he picks up 94 feet, because I feel like once a game when he picks up 94 feet, he causes a turnover. And this is a team, obviously, I think is going to thrive off of that defensively, causing turnovers and whatnot. But offensively, he can be, if he can hit threes, attack closeouts. Teams started putting their centers on him because like Şengün is obviously not great defensively, but if Moses Moody isn't going to do anything, then you're not really challenging and making the defense work if you don't put Şengün in like pick and rolls or make him play defense. So I've liked that from Moody. If he can continue to do that, it's going to be a really big positive help. I went this whole time without really diving into Kuminga. Kuminga has looked okay. We're going to start with the positives. I like that he's being a little bit more patient. I like that he's passing a little bit more. I like that he's not just grabbing the ball, whether it's at the 3-point line or the high post or the mid post. and just, you know what, I'm just going to dribble, ISO into a tough mid-range shot. I like that he's being a lot more patient. I like when he's in the post, actually, sort of like how Jimmy is, because he's so fast and athletic, especially if he has somebody that's smaller than him. Jonathan Kuminga is 6'8". If there's a 6'5" guy on him, give him the ball, run your split action, have him in the post, and then Kuminga, it's up to you. Drive baseline, finish at the basket. He did that last night. It was a play where he was in the low post, got the ball, got to the basket, finished over somebody. There was another play where he dunked on Jake LaRavia with his left hand after causing a turnover. Like, those are the plays that you want to see from Kuminga. The rebounding, the energy. I feel like he's trying to be a lot more bought in, which I like that from him. And then there's also the other side where he had, 5 turnovers last night against the Lakers. So the playmaking stuff, although I mentioned that he's doing it a lot more, it's not something he's still great at. That's something that he's going to need to be able to pick up on. Like, there's going to be pockets where they're going to need Kuminga, even if Steph and Jimmy are like healthy, because obviously when Steph and Jimmy are out, Jonathan Kuminga is going to get the ball, and they're just he can score however many points he wants to. But in the regular season, he's gonna need to be able to make those plays. He has made them. He has made them a lot more, but still got to get better at it. Not turn the ball over. Not be too hesitant. Like, hey, nothing's there on this possession. Hey, let me kick it out. Let me do this. Let's reset. Let's do that. That's what we need to see from Jonathan Kuminga. And in the defense, the off-ball defense is the one that we need to worry about. His on-ball defense has never been an issue. If you watch, especially the Minnesota Timberwolves series last season, his on-ball defense is good. He forced the turnover or jump ball in the first game against the Lakers when Bronny James was coming down the court. Like, his on-ball defense is really good. The off-ball defense got to be better. His help defense has to be better. He can't lose guys on cuts and whatnot. I think he's shown some things throughout this season, or this preseason, I should say, that you're like, if he can just do these couple things more often, it's going to be a really positive thing for the Warriors. And for himself, because we're all thinking he's going to get traded past January 15th, right? The depth from yesterday, I thought, struggled a little bit against the Lakers. When Steph and Jimmy are going to solve so many problems for this team when it comes to offense and defense. But I think the Warriors' ceiling increases if the young guys really step up and take steps forward. Kuminga, Trace Jackson-Davis, Pods, Moody, Quentin Post, like all the Will Richard, who they picked this season. Like, those guys really need to step up, because again, Steph and Jimmy have looked really good. They've really looked good, but sometimes the depth who they're going to have to rely on, because their 4 most important players are over the age of 35, those guys are going to have to get better, for sure. The Hawks. Caw-caw, as Zach Lowe would say. The Hawks, who are playing now, I feel like I have to watch a little bit more on the Hawks, to be honest. I feel like I should watch a little bit more. But I did notice their first game was against the Houston Rockets, which will be our last team, actually. Porzingis was starting. I actually like that over Onyeka Okongwu, just because Porzingis is a more proven spacer. They had really a lot of good ball movement for their offense. They were really attacking in transition. Jalen Johnson, head-to-head passes from Trae Young. I really like the speed that they play with. Even when like the bench guys were in, I remember Onyeka Okongwu had a fast break dunk one time. Like, this is a team. I said in a previous video, I think this is a team that could be top 10 in offense and top 10 in defense. And offensively, like, it looked true. If they keep moving the ball the way they do, Jalen Johnson, if Jalen Johnson can become a threat from the 3, I like the way this team is really looking. There were a couple plays where the Rockets tried to blitz Trae Young in a high pick and roll, and as soon as the blitz come, Trae Young is getting off the ball early. There's creating if the 2-on-1 is creating a mismatch on the back end. So then you're playing 4-on-3, and they were able to score off that. We talk about that when it comes to Steph Curry, how Steph Curry, when they're not the Warriors aren't a traditional pick and roll team. However, if they do run a pick and roll, teams tend to trap Curry because they don't want Curry to shoot threes or even find some slick way to get to the basket. If Trae Young sort of has that effect on defensive consistently, then and the other guys, Jalen Johnson, Porzingis, Okongwu, Risa Shea, no matter what, if those guys are able to make plays out of the blitzes, then this offense can be really, really dangerous. There's lineups where they can play Okongwu and Porzingis. Really, really, I'm very interested in those lineups. I want to see those lineups a lot more. If Porzingis is your basket guy and Okongwu is your versatile defender, multiple positions, out in open space, while Porzingis is behind him and he's on the back line, and you have, let's say, Dyson Daniels on Nickeil Alexander-Walker defending for you, this is going to be really, really, I'm telling you, I see a future where this team is top 10 in offense, top 10 in defense. Trae Young, I think this team is going to be good as long as Trae Young leads them to where I think they can be. I'm super excited to watch the Atlanta Hawks, bro. And then the team they played in their first preseason game is our last team, Houston. Amen Thompson on ball is what I have written here. There's going to be no Fred VanVleet for the rest of the season. Amen Thompson is going to have the opportunity to have the ball. He showed last year once he got inserted to the starting lineup that he actually can run some offense. I still don't think he's great at it, though. It's going to be a big work in progress for them. They're a team that's gonna have to be like point guard by committee, because Reed Shepherd might be their starting point guard when it comes to like opening night against the Oklahoma City Thunder. However, is Reed Shepherd ready? Like, that's the biggest question. Is Reed Shepherd ready? He hasn't looked bad in preseason, but can he can he have the effect that Fred VanVleet had on their offense, getting them into their sets, being able to space, being able to pass? Amen Thompson and Reed Shepherd are going to be tasked with that, because you don't want Kevin Durant. You got Kevin Durant to score buckets. You didn't get Kevin Durant to give you 10 assists. You got him to score 30. Şengün obviously is a good passer, so he's going to give you 6, 7, 8 assists a game. But in terms of ball handling, coming up the court, is going to be Amen Thompson. It's going to be Reed Shepherd. They're going to have to do a way better job with that. But Amen Thompson, the three-pointers is going to be a big question for him as well. Not just the on-ball reps of him running P&Rs. He did make a corner three, so maybe the corner three is a weapon, sort of like how Westbrook isn't a great shooter, but in the corners he's actually not bad. Maybe he can be a corner shooter. Teams are still going to leave him open, so he's gonna have to prove it. I remember there was a lineups where they had Jabari, Smith Jr., they had Clint Capella and Şengün. That's what, 6'11", 6'11". That's 6'11", 6'11", 6'11", all on the court at the same time. That's scary. That's nasty. Obviously, the spacing of that lineup is going to be a real big issue. Honestly, the spacing in general is just going to be a really big issue for the Houston Rockets. If you look at their starting lineup, let's say Reed Shepherd is their starter. Reed, Shepherd, Thompson, Durant, Smith Jr., and Şengün. Where's the spacing coming from? Because off the bench, you're going to have, what, Jeff Green, Adams, Capella, Dorian Finney-Smith Jr., who actually is injured. Dorian Finney-Smith, sorry, I don't think he's a junior. But Smith is injured. And then Jayshawn Tate, like, where's the shooting coming from? That's going to be the biggest question for me when I'm watching this Houston Rockets team. Kevin Durant is going to get his. There's going to be times I'm interested actually to see Kevin Durant and Şengün be able to play off of each other. Şengün obviously is a good passer, and he's gonna be used as a hub, I believe, or at least he should be used as a hub when he's at the top of the 3-point line and get Kevin Durant space in the middle. If they're blitzing Kevin Durant, can Reed or Smith or the rest of the guys on the roster, who's going to be able to hit open threes? That's going to be a really, really big key, I think, this season for this team to not struggle so much on offense. They were 22nd in offense and half-court offense last year. If they want to, I can't say, oh, they're going to win a championship this season, because I think they need Fred VanVleet in order to do that. But let's say if they want to be a team to be very, very dangerous during playoff time, they're going to have to figure out how to space the floor around Kevin Durant and up around Şengün. They're going to get a bunch of rebounds. They're going to be tough. I still think they're going to be an elite defensive team. You've seen that. Again, Jabari, Capella, Şengün lineups. Take out Capella, put in Steven Adams. Like, Steven Adams has looked really good in preseason too, by the way. The stuff that they were good at last year, they're gonna be good at again. But if they want to take that next step, they need to be able to shoot the basketball, and Thompson and Reed, they're gonna have to be able to handle the ball, be a little bit more point guard like. So those are my thoughts on the Rockets. That's my last team. Again, a lot of teams to talk about. Could have talked about the Celtics. Could have talked about who did I want to talk about? The Clippers, the Suns, obviously with a bunch of new players and a new coach. But season's gonna start really, really soon. Let me know what you guys think about any of the teams I had mentioned, or a team that I didn't mention. What are your thoughts on that? But that's all I have for you today. Next time I talk to you guys, next Tuesday is the start of the NBA season. You'll probably hear from me around there. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And then I hope it'd be greatly, greatly appreciated. Podcast listeners, leave a 5-star rating. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.